All right, let's get into this craziness. So, the first thing I just want to head it off, let's just kick into it. Roe versus Wade. So, as you know, the Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade, allowing states to ban abortion. To be more clear, as a result of this decision, the right to abortion is no longer protected at a federal level, and states will be legally allowed to ban access. It undoes 50 years of precedent and will impact millions of women and families across the country. Those seeking an abortion will be forced to travel to states that protect the right or seeking out other potentially dangerous avenues. Now, the crazy part is GOP states, and we've already talked. The good thing about some of this stuff is we've already talked about this leading up to it. So we knew that states were going to enact those trigger laws once the federal broke this down, meaning they were going to immediately ban abortion clinics. Almost like 12 p.m. it was overturned. 12:01 they already had a bill fucking signed ready to go to say, bitch, you're shut down. So we'll ban abortion either immediately or within the coming weeks and months, alongside the justices in favor of the ruling. Now, a lot has come out of this. A lot has come out of this. You know, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has, something to say about this. So, first thing I wanted to point out is what is happening is now you have employers coming in and starting to become, sort of the mitigator in between this. So you have Patagonia, which is a clothing store. They're covering the bail of any employees arrested at abortion protests. Now, I feel some kind of way about this. It's a double-edged sword for me. Like, I get this, and it's, I understand the wanting to throw some dollars behind your organization in support of this, but there's another way to do this, because I see this being a slippery slope. So let's say it's not abortion, let's say it's George Floyd, let's say it's police brutality, and we're going out to protest that. Why didn't you cover the bail then? Why are you covering the bail now? I see a slippery slope happening when companies involve themselves at this level, because I can equally be upset and feel discriminated and disenfranchised as someone who may be in support of, you know, um, restricting abortion rights. And now, as my job, my employer, you're now doing sending bail, and it's a slippery slope. And we'll see later, in another story, why I say that businesses need to figure out a way that's more long term and sustainable, and that is embedded in your organization. It makes no sense for them to put themselves on the line to post bail, because then you become a target in the state, you become a target for other states. They might want to push a business out. You put all kind of things on your back. Why not pool those dollars together and sort of put them elsewhere? Help build a Planned Parenthood in those lower in communities where they can't reach them other way. So I saw that and I felt a kind of way about it. Great, kudos for the effort, but I see a lot of businesses doing this, and I see it being very one-sided, and very quick. Okay, we're gonna help you all, And I also started thinking about like all other kind of rights and shit where we out here protesting. I didn't see y'all posting bail and doing all that shit then. So, okay. Then we had Lizzo. She came out here, and she's joining forces with Rock Nation to donate $1 million to Planned Parenthood. So she tweeted, "I'm pledging 500,000 for my upcoming tour to Planned Parenthood. Live Nation agreed to match to make it $1 million." Now I find this to be impactful. It's a great way to send a message. She's not, she's not doing anything that might tie her to something. It's simply her throwing support to an organization that's already been existing. So I was here for that. Then you got a lot of other folks out here doing sending messages in their performance. One message that I thought was the most creative, and I really, really enjoyed it, was, is this it? I think this is it. Was Kendrick Lamar's performance at Glastonbury. He did a really, really good performance. I'm gonna So that was Megan. Beautiful. She looked really, really good. She was out performing in Glastonbury this past weekend. And that was her statement back to her home in Texas. Now, speaking of Texas, I posted this on my community wall. They are already acting and up the GOP senators. So we have a Texas senator already out here just being very, very careless. So he tweeted this. So Obama tweeted today, the Supreme Court not only reversed nearly 50 years of precedent, it relegated the most intensely personal decisions someone can make to the whims of politicians and ideologues, attacking the essential freedoms of millions of Americans. So what does Senator John Cornyn say from Texas? He says now Duplessis versus Ferguson, Brown versus Board of Education. And people were like up in arms. People were going crazy because essentially what he's saying is that the Supreme Court's Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka decision saw the court ruling in 1954 that state level laws on public school segregation were unconstitutional. The move notably marked a partial overruling from the court of its 1896 Plessy versus Ferguson decision. And so people are looking at him like, bitch, what are we doing? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to go back to school segregation? Is that what we're doing? So immediately as he got this backlash, he thought he was going to clean it up by posting this. So then he goes on to tweet this. In that same tweet, he retweets that and says, thank goodness some SCOTUS precedents are overruled. All right, you better be fucking careful. You better be, all I'm saying is you better be careful. Be careful of your intentions of what you're saying, because you never know what kind of corner you're boxing yourself in. Speaking of, now we have Clarence Thomas. So Clarence Thomas goes on to say justice should also consider the ban on gay marriage after Roe versus Wade. Now, he's going on to say that justices consider whether there was an overreach in in overturning the constitutional rights the court had affirmed for access to contraceptives and LGBTQ rights. He acknowledged that Friday's decision in Women's Health Organization does not directly affect any rights besides abortion. In future cases, we should reconsider all of this court's substantive due process precedents. And people are like, are you fucking kidding me? So, they had all of the rallies and protests this past weekend in DC. And so there was also this tweet circulating that people needed to meet at Justice's house so that they could protest. And so there's videos online of people actually walking towards this man's house. And so I'm like, it's to a certain point, I'm all for it, but I'm not going to go to no Supreme Court justice house. Not if it's not a planned thing and he understands it. I'm not about to. Now that's something I don't want to get myself involved with. Going to the Supreme Court, I'd rather be an activist elsewhere. You notice, and we've talked about Clarence Thomas before. This man don't give a fuck. His wife don't give a fuck. His wife was telling Trump and Trump's team everything that was going on. And that came to fruition. What did they do? Seal the whole fucking thing up. They sealed the entire thing up so nobody can ask questions, and it's done. None of that came out in the Capitol 6 riot in January 6th. The only thing we got was that she sent a text message to someone on Trump's campaign. What it was around, what it was involving, all of that other stuff they sealed up from us. So do you really think that protesting at Justice Clarence Thomas's house was going to be, and then they even had like a carpool, going to be effective? I don't think it's going to be effective. Then you also had some folks come out saying that we're going to threaten to go on a sex strike over SCOTUS. No sex with men until Roe versus Wade is protected. Now, I had got an alert on my phone for this article, and I was out with a friend, and I looked at the title, and so I clicked it, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" And so I showed my friend. My friend said, "Is that just women only?" I said, "I think they just talking about women." Because I don't know what's going on, but like I know it's heavy, but this is a lot. I think this is actually counterintuitive. To just say that there's no sex with men until Roe versus Wade is overturned, because I think you wouldn't even have a Roe versus Wade. I don't even think that would be like a situation if it wasn't for reproducing and having the right to. So I think there's women out here who probably want to reproduce and get pregnant. I think there's men who actually want to protect abortion rights for women. So I think just saying this in general, again, like people always do, LGBTQ, now it's attack all men because they got penises, with this whole no sex until versus Roe versus Wade. Now, this is a very small movement. It didn't have a lot of legs because I looked on Twitter to see like if there was some growth about it. There's not a lot of growth, but there was certainly a short amount of growth for some of these women to be interviewed. Thousands of protesters in New York City, they held signs that said no sex until we have abortion rights. Um, Women of America take the pledge because SCOTUS overturned Roe versus Wade. We cannot take the risk of an unintended pregnancy. Therefore, we will not have sex with any man, including our husbands, unless we are trying to become. Another supporter on Twitter said, women calling for a national sex strike. No sex with men until women's rights are codified by law. Perhaps a sex strike, also known as abstinence, will help the men folk to be all in on this women's rights issue. And so I just feel like that is not I don't think that's first of all, I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be successful because it's human nature. So it's almost like saying no sneezing or until people wear face masks, unless people are wearing everyone wears face masks. I personally saw this and was like, wow, people are really really feeling some kind of way about um the abortion rights, and it's really just because it's not protected at the federal level, but there are states who still protect it. They'll house abortion clinics and they'll still provide state funding. Removing it from the federal level removes federal funding, federal support. It allows the states to determine those things. So for me, it's like it's not that it's going away. It's just that now those states where they're more conservative and they're more GOP led, they're making it damn near impossible for a woman in those states to have abortion rights. And so I think it's more important to steer all of that attention in those states to those politicians, because doing it in like the liberal states or where it's oh I don't see it, I don't see it being as impactful. It sounds impactful, but I don't see it hitting as, then you think about sex workers. They do it for a living. So you're telling them to stop, hold up. So it's a lot to that. And so I saw that and I said, okay, I mean, I, I'm not a woman, so I can't put myself in those shoes, but I certainly am like, wow, no, Roman, I'm old. It's some groups you don't touch. While I'm pro-life, for me, I don't have the right to tell another woman what to do with her body. Hey, Torres, good morning, good morning, good morning. The Dems are using this to bolster Joe's numbers since he hasn't followed it through with a lot of his promises to the Black community. Ugh, please, powerful. Ugh. I guarantee in Texas, certain counties will push back. Okay, I think so. Right, corny. Can Clarence gone on to glory already and we replace his old ass? There was this tweet going around on Twitter of all the justices that need to be replaced, and they put their ages and then anticipated age of death, and then they put the years that we have left with them. I said, y'all are wishing death on people. We also don't have no business telling folks who to sleep with, as long as they are of age and it's consensual. Do what you want, as long as it doesn't involve kids or animals. Baby, heavy on the animals, because if you don't come back Wednesday, there's this story. They don't caught a man with a dog. I had to stomach through the story like, wait a minute, hold up. So that's going to be on Wednesday. Even the Supreme Court has been affected by the Trump virus. All three branches of the government are corrupt and politicized. A sex strike. I'm glad some of us on the same page. No sex. I'm old, but not that old. Wait a minute. His head dry up and included in the bed, asking for a friend. Ain't no way you it depend on who you giving head to or who dry humping, because it's gonna end up being something. Wait, wasn't that the plot to that one Nick Cannon movie? I have an easy way to solve this. Put Lil in front of Clarence Thomas's name and let him walk these streets and see how long he lasts. Pop, pop, pop. Put him on a whole island. I started my strike already, period. Get into it. But seriously, this reversal sucks. Oh, okay. I was going to say, you really started a strike? Okay. I want to know how that goes. For real, for real. Yeah, the sex strike, to me, it seems like it's one of those, okay, we got to do something. But I think that's counterintuitive. Both male and women abstaining. I think that's more of a personal choice. I think that's a little overreaching to say that you should stop having sex. Now, I think that you should mandate people in those states raise the fucking roof, raise the alarms, certainly go out and carpool. We can pull people together from other states to those states. It's all about voting and getting the right people out and the right people in. And clearly, this pulls the band-aid off to show you which senators, which politicians, aldermen, which districts in your area, in your communities, have been inept, have failed to do their job. So it feels like the burden is it's more of a burden than not. But I'm not a woman again, and so certainly I'm not one to say whether or not this would work, but I just don't think it'll be as impactful. So we'll see. I'm getting married. I'm not striking. I'm surprised that this wasn't phased in then. Most changes are slowly phased in. Right. But it's not going to be, though. Or built or packaged in another piece of legislation or something like that. But no, they seriously made it stand out. Okay. Okay. We still got to get a date on that. Got me over here like, damn. So Roe versus Wade.